Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading Muichiro X Listener by me, so let's get into it. Your relationship with Muichiro was an interesting one for sure. One that he was, well, quite unused to. Maybe for the lack of romance in his life, or maybe because he had no idea what would be considered normal in a relationship. After all, it wasn't like he was the type to actually date someone, and he wouldn't go out of his way to try and be in a relationship. The way things went with you two, they were complete coincidence and luck, because he loved you, of course. But you just happened to be the one to reach out first most of the time, until he warmed up to you and began seeking you out even on his own. It was difficult for him, and you needed to be the one to take initiative most of the time. Regardless of that, he knew that some things were quite unique in your relationship, and compared to others, they may be considered weird and probably a little bit strange. However, sometimes they made Meteor feel completely lost. You would do some things that would catch him completely off guard, and he had no idea if there was reasoning behind any of what you did, or if you just wanted to see him flustered. It's probably the second option, but either way, it was still a lot to put up with. Not because you hated it, or you, or what you did, but because it was quite startling at first, seeing as how things could be, and how flirty you got with him sometimes. Wait, sure, come on. There's no need to be so shy. But Ryan, come on, look at me. I love you. With the way you act sometimes, it makes me feel like I don't show you my love at all. That's not what I mean. He protested, crossing his arms, and you could see the little pout on his face. Somehow, everything he managed to do made your heart swell with love. He was absolutely cute sometimes, and even though the two of you grow up together, he never failed to be endearing with you. After all, there was something about him, something that made everything that he did slightly more cute and endearing no matter how old it got. Maybe someone else would consider it a little bit childish, but isn't love childish in its own? So mature pouting truly wasn't the worst thing that could happen. But little did he know that he had a lot prepared for him today. You wanted to fluster him, perhaps further, since you had already been teasing him all morning, and you just wanted to make it all explode. Perhaps you were a little bit too chaotic for his taste sometimes, but he loved you and accepted that. So, he may just have to put up with this, whatever it was that you were planning for him. Poor Muichiro is clueless for now, though, and had no idea what you were planning. And you thought it would get him real shy. So that's why, when the two of you were curled up together, cuddling, you had held the face in your hands, looked at him, and called him daddy to his face. The first thing that you saw on his face was absolute bewilderment and pure confusion. He wasn't really familiar with this kind of thing. Why, Anne? Why, you know I am not. And then it dawned on him what you were meaning, and he blushed brightly, looking away and shoving you gently. You can be so tiring sometimes. You laughed at his reaction, because you know he didn't mean to hurt you by shoving you. It was just something he did when he found you staring at him for so long, with that smug grin on your face. Honestly, you can't blame him. You've been far too evil for him sometimes. And as you stroke his hair gently, he melts into the movement, closing his eyes and letting out a soft sigh. Mayan, seriously. Stop teasing me so much. Or, or I'll be really upset with you. He threatens. And though you know it's mostly an empty threat, you nod either way and hold him. I'm sorry. Well, I'll try, okay? No promises though. And although he knows that you'll be back to teasing him in no time, he nods and takes whatever piece he can get. Meanwhile, you just can't help but keep picturing his face again. The way he was blushing so much, and the way he immediately turned away, not wanting to look you in the eyes because of how red he got. He could be truly adorable at times, and though not many people got to see the side of him, you did, and you absolutely cherished it, and perhaps had way too much fun with the way you could actually do this all the time. The way you could make him blush and feel and laugh in a way nobody else could. It was a privilege that you had, a privilege that you knew very well much the effects of, and how rare it was to get it, and you were still willing to abuse that privilege whenever you got the chance. And honestly, Muichiro couldn't be so mad about it. If anything, he couldn't be mad at you at all. He was just a little bit embarrassed at times, and he hopes that you at least go by a little time without teasing him. Otherwise, well, he'd probably go through a lot of embarrassment, and a lot of pouting, and he would have to do something that was really big to make it up to him. For now, though, the two of you cuddled, while he buried his face in your shoulder, turned to avoid seeing you laugh at him sometimes every now and then, while the two of you just relaxed and rested together. The events of the day and the week completely forgotten as you found refuge in each other's arms. Sometimes, that time that you got to spend with each other was all you needed. And for Muichiro, it meant the entire world to him. No matter how much you teased him, and how the two of you could fight and quarrel sometimes, the two of you were in love, and your arms, they were like home to him, and he would always feel safe and happy in them.